Welcome to Wandering the Isles. I'm Andy Farnsworth. These are happenings out in the world, spontaneous conversational films. If there were a Tinder for male friends, what would you put on your Tinder? Like, what are your qualifications? Not looking for anything serious? Or
funny,
no hookup, no friend hookups. Like, what's
no
the
friend hookups? I think it would be like, it's like somebody that, that wants to have an engaging conversation that is, can be personal, but also, philosophical and engage and challenging. I want friends that challenge my thinking.
That's Adrian Lambrinos. He's a guy I know from the rooms, and every once in a while I get this nudge from the universe to talk to somebody, and so I asked him to be on the podcast, and I think it was his idea to see if I'd like to participate in a sweat ceremony with him. And, I thought it was going to be this gonzo journalism thing. He got permission for me to join. And this is me picking him up back in April, by the way. Yeah, man, it's this, I know, and it's hard to make friends with men. It's weird.
It is weird. It's awkward. I don't know if it's specifically a heterosexual cisgender thing.
Yeah.
Or if it's male across the board. I don't even know.
I don't either, man. I think what scares me as a man sometimes is you get friends with another man and there's this weird, like they'll ask you to do something and you don't, and it's really offensive.
Yeah.
I thought we were friends. And it feels too, like, tight, so you pull away.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I've had that happen a couple times,
Okay, so where are we going?
You can head out this way. It's my neighbor right there.
You've met the neighbors?
Yeah, we met a few of them.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's different. That's different. I got the Black Lives Matter sign out, and I ain't gotten any grief over it, so I know there's a cop that live around the corner, and they hate that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So, but I got that, we had that out in the avenues, right out in the lawn, and I put it inside over here because I don't know people around here as much. I like this neighborhood, but the people here are different, It's more suburban. So you've been to Sweat before?
No, man.
Never?
Well, no. Yeah, no, I've never. I mean, I've been in the steam room or sauna, but...
It's way different.
Yeah.
Way different.
How long is it?
It varies, to be quite honest. You probably want to set aside a good portion of your day for a sweat. It's weird because it's hard to describe in within the vernacular of how we normally communicate. With native people, it's easy to sort of know it's just we don't know how long it's going to be. It's just however long it is today.
And so what's your background? What's your lineage?
So without getting into like the whole story and everything, see the Starbucks sign by the Chick-fil-A and stuff down there.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah.
So my mom is Uto Maya Mexica. The Uto denotes that she's not connected to her culture, that she grew up Mexican, mestizo. In many ways, that means more or less that you're an indigenous person that's been Catholicized.
Okay.
And therefore, you're through colonization and generations of colonization, your family has been separated from your indigenous culture, which it's not kind of true. It's sort of not true because you still have the language and little things sneak in and stuff like that. And so, like, that's my mom's side. My dad's I think he's a quarter Greek. That's where the last name comes from. And,
okay.
And a couple other things, European stuff. I moved back to El Paso, Texas after high school, and then I started to get involved in a community there that was actively engaging and reestablishing the language, the spiritual beliefs, practices.
Right here. Oh, that one. What do you want?
It is 16-ounce vanilla soy latte with an extra shot.
Okay, 16-ounce vanilla soy latte with an extra shot, and just a small coffee with cream. Thank you.
You can keep my fufu drink in there when people know.
I was gonna say, man, you've been colonized by Starbucks.
Yeah, for real.
Like this, we're going to your ceremony. This is my welcome to my people. This is
Yeah. I like your coffee drinks. I want you to meet the people too, if that's okay.
Oh yeah, no, of course.
Yeah, I mean, a big part of why this works so well for me is the community, people. It's a radical indigenous community, so we're armed. I'm not armed today, but like we arm ourselves and that kind of thing.
Okay.
We're a decolonized movement, but also a spiritual community. Bases itself more or less in these ceremonial practices, but also in the way the community is structured. So the folks that own this house are the Siwakwat and the Tecutli, which is the male and female chief right here.
Wait, you armed? I figure I'm fine with that, but I love how you wait till we're a block away to tell me they got.
Yeah,
guns.
I don't want to scare you away.
That wouldn't scare me away.
Okay, keep going.
What are we talking armed here?
It means that we most of us are concealed carry people. And that's not because of the Second Amendment or anything patriotic. It's because, we reserve the right to defend ourselves as indigenous people and other indigenous people.
Yeah.
It's for defense only, of course. This house here on the corner. So, get behind that car or maybe in front of it.
Park here?
Maybe in front of it would be better.
Okay.
And a lot of the ceremony is going to be in Spanish.
Okay.
And now what? So if you need anything translated, they might be nice enough to, say things in English too. But afterwards, if you have any questions or anything like that, we can talk about it. But you're welcome to ask questions too. It's not unusual to.
How much should I try to record here or not record?
You can record like us going back and
Walking
meeting
back
people.
there.
But then like right as the ceremony is going to begin, we probably want to shut everything down and.
Gotcha.
Oh, let me get my coffee. Yeah, man, coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, my coffee drink. Colonization. There'll be signs saying Temazcal. That points you to the sweat in the backyard. Yeah. I feel good today, Andy. I gotta acknowledge that,
You do.
I don't know about you, but most of the time I feel bad.
Yeah.
And most of my life I feel like that. So when I feel good, I gotta say it out loud. It helps me.
I think I do too.
Yeah. So take a minute to appreciate this. I'm gonna read it.
Yeah.
It says the Lopez family declares this place autonomous sacred place for native fight and resistance. Please respect this home, elders, no trash, and keep an eye on your kids. Homophobia and patriarchy, not welcome. It also says it in Spanish, La familia Lopez declara este hogar como lugar sagrado, autónomo para la resistencia y lucha nativa. Por favor, respete este hogar, los mayores, no basura, y mantenga atención a sus hijos. Homofobia y patriarcado, I think that's how you say it, no son vendidos. So it's the same thing in English. And then you have that.
Protected by the Second Amendment.
Yeah. So Temazcal, the sign pointing to the sweat. Temazcal is our word for the lodge. You're in Indian territory now. I think we're going in already. Hola. ¿Estamos entrando?
Yeah, we're already in.
All right, cool.
Oh my God. It smells like sage.
It's copal.
Copal?
Yeah. It's traditional for us.
Yeah, let's take
So
this
we
shit
want to
off.
probably shut down now
Yeah.
and strip down. Get right into it, man. Right on time.
You know, what I experienced in this sweat has baffled me for months. I've wanted to try and convey it, and I think what I've come up against is it's just a wordless experience. David White, this author I really like, has this quote: "What is precious inside us does not care to be known by the mind in ways that diminish its presence." You know, and I guess I've always felt like everything had to be articulated. I mean, I can say just the basics of being in there, the environment. It's this hogan, it's like a big circular tent, and everyone's in a circle, men and women, and there's a big, pit in the center, and these hot rocks that they've been warming, pretty much all morning. There's just one little flap to go in and out. And then that thing shuts, and the drums start beating, and the smell of this copal and cedar and kind of an indistinguishable synesthesia of panic and smell and emotion just like come up at once, and I wanted to run out of there. And I didn't want to be the white guy who runs out of the sweat lodge ceremony. And that's partly what kept me going, but also I realized, if you start chanting, that helps the panic go away. And about what went on inside me, I guess all I'll say is that I was cracked open in a way I have never experienced. I have never wept in front of a group of people, and felt more comfortable doing it in my life. And I mean like a bone-shattering weeping, like a grief. And yeah, the heat, it does make you kind of dream. It's visionary. And you try to talk about your shit at the end. Everyone kind of goes around. People talk about their loved ones, illnesses, problems with spouses. And I have to say, I believe that I'm a different person. I mean, this was in April, and I think I'm a lot better today than where I was at then. And I really see that moment as kind of establishing the ground from coming back to where I am now, which is pretty good, believe it or not. Yeah. You talk about time, now it's true. That was just like, it has nothing to do with anything. I mean, the question is like irrelevant. How long does it take? I see that now a little bit, because it's like, it doesn't even compute. Yeah. I mean, we started at 10, and I guess we got out in 2, but I didn't know that until John D told me that. Yeah. That it was 2. I almost didn't want to ask, because now everything feels like it's just sacrilegious. Like after that, like I did think, I was like, I want to go out into the woods, Mm-hmm.
But everybody's experiences and interpretations of things are slightly different. But at least in my experience, and I'm speaking, of course, extemporaneously about it because I can't really academically assess it in a way without taking away from the sacredness of it.
Yeah, totally.
And I don't want to do that either.
I don't even want to, I almost don't want to talk about it, but for me, there was almost too much. Like, you turn off the recorder and then your mental tape recorder, you're like, well, it's like having all these thoughts. I'm having all these thoughts. I gotta save them, but you can't. They just kind of move through you.
Yeah. Well, you learn how to communicate in there. In a certain way. And for me, it began with singing songs. And the singing song things kind of came naturally to me.
Dude, and that's what I wanted to say too. I noticed right away when I was panicking, as soon as I started to participate, to sing, it went away. Yeah. The panic, because I took active.
Yeah, you were actively engaging in what was happening in front of you, and that's what it does. It's very cathartic in that sense, because it puts you in the now.
Exactly.
in the immediate now.
Yeah.
You're not thinking about anything else. And so, and then things come up.
Yeah.
It's sort of like when you do the EMDR, you don't know what's going to come up.
Very much like that.
You don't know what's going to come up, but it comes up. And it forces you to address it in a very conscious way. I thought, like, for years, like, maybe I was, kind of afraid of going to ceremonies because of what I might be confronted with internally. Especially peyote meetings.
Oh, I bet.
And because the peyote for us is an entity. It's not just a plant, and it's not a drug or anything like that. It's a medicine that has a conscience, a being of its own, and it's a teacher in some sort of way. But it's sort of like this. There would be situations where I would say something or do something, and a specific character defect would come out, and I would see that specific character defect.
Oh, like
right
on you, kind of
in
on
me,
you?
and coming out of me and around me, just what
Wow.
I said or what I was doing.
Yeah.
And that was the medicine saying, "Look, motherfucker, this is what you need to look at, and maybe you need to reassess this."
I could see that even just with this, without.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, I just want to say, I'm so grateful to you right now that you let me do that. I mean, I had...
Yeah, help you out,
I had an experience in there, dude, and, like, I thought this was going to be some kind of guerrilla podcasting thing, and then I ended up... I don't know, man. I feel like I hope I can leave some of that stuff behind, but that's been a process of acceptance. Like you want to, like you're like, I've done enough. I've had enough pain. I've done enough inventory.
Yeah.
And then it just keeps coming up again and again, and you're like, am I just staying in this wound or what's happening? But I don't know. I felt that was different about that was a strength. Like there's different kinds of crying.
Yeah.
Like there's a grief and a yearning and a loss, and then there's like. That was like, I felt strength.
Yeah.
Like I felt the beat, like this beat in me. I don't hope I'm not sounding too over dramatic, but
no, you're good. Yeah.
But I felt this like strength thing, and that is not something I've associated with that pain yet. Like, it was like I felt my heart being like stronger about it.
That's great.
Versus like kind of cower and like falling into myself. It felt like I stuck my chest out and like could feel okay.
Yeah.
I can feel myself moving forward or something.
That's a huge difference between, feeling dominated by it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think too, and if I may say, like for me anyway, there were certain pains or wounds that I hung on to because they were such a huge part of my identity. And at some point I had to kind of, ask myself why I valued this certain thing as much as I did, because I hung on to it for so long. And at some point I had to say, I'm willing to let this go because I no longer need the pain. The other thing too I want to mention is because we talked about possessions in the sweat, right?
Yeah.
And how that relates to our, sort of socioeconomic capitalist world.
Yeah.
We see everything as a possession, and relationships is just another possession in a lot of people's minds. And I really had to fight to let that go too. People talk about like Sarah and I's marriage and stuff as being ideal and stuff, idyllic or whatever. It's not really. I mean, we had to go through a lot.
Yeah.
We have to fight to keep our relationship going sometimes, and and it's difficult, but it's because it's worth the struggle to both of us still that we continue to toe the line. And when it doesn't, that's it. And that's just how it is. Yeah,
and you gotta each be seeking your own spirituality.
You gotta be seeking it. You gotta be also going in the same direction, Andy, because you both have to have kind of a vision for your future together. And if you see things one way, going one way, and they don't, it's gonna be hard to reconcile that difference, And so that's why I was telling you when we drove out there, it's communication, man. It's all communication.
There was this moment that I shared with Adrian that he was so kind to let me be a part of. And I've sat on that for months, that tape. And I felt like, I feel vulnerable. I'm a comedian mostly. And just something that like somber, it felt hard. It was difficult for me to just sit there, and I probably should, but I asked him to go out and record again. He had just gotten a pool. Someone had given him an above ground pool, one of his coworkers. So he wanted me to come with him to the pool store and then Big Lots. And to see Adrian in that context, and he and I kind of becoming friends more, it was pretty, I don't know, I thought it was pretty funny. I don't know, it was just wild. I want to explore this pool thing because you didn't want it.
I didn't really want it, but like, you know, I'm all in. I'm all for it if it's for the kids and my family, you know, if they're going to enjoy it, you know what I mean? Because I know it's just going to kick my ass all day, every day. Just, this is the way that it is. Nobody else is going to work on it but me.
Yeah, it's like getting an animal. You're like, I know I'm the one that's going to be walking it.
Exactly. You know, but if it makes my kids happy and it gives them some joy, yeah, sure. Right. All right, I got a list. So when you get married, your wife gives you lists.
It smells like chlorine. It's good.
It does.
I love that smell.
Yeah.
There's like a Roomba thing you can get for your pool too that's like always gone.
Is it?
Yeah, that like always vacuums the bottom of the pool. Seriously.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
There's just giant
It is a long
pallets.
ass pole.
I know, I'm walking around this tiny little shop with a giant pole that goes to the ceiling.
Yeah.
It's like being in a bodega with a staff. Like some kind of wizard.
A pool wizard. Spider-Man or Finding Dory?
I mean, I'd go Spider-Man, but isn't Dory about losing their parents? I mean...
Yeah, finding her parents, actually.
Oh, finding, all right.
Yeah,
I took the pessimistic...
Yeah, well, you're thinking of Finding Nemo.
Oh.
Finding Nemo was...
I mean, that's not the message you want to send in your pool, is getting separated from your parents, I think. But this is the coming back, so...
I think we're going to do Spider-Man.
We're at...
All right,
this is
Life
Big
Fest.
Lots. Big Lots has really cleaned up their game since I last went to...
Yeah.
When I would go in Illinois, and it was more like, this is all leftover stuff.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, this is less that way.
Now this is what I'm talking about.
What, the giant swan lounge? $20.
Yeah.
I think that's a good deal.
Yeah.
These things, the slip and slide that with the water at the end, this had like, there's like a water pillow. Well,
Yeah.
that one's different. That's one of my first memories of like, I felt fat because there's like a big pillow at the end of the one we did, and it just broke when I did it because I was too heavy.
That's too bad.
It hurt.
Should I get the giant flamingo?
Yeah. Oh, I need one of these, like to wash my back.
Yeah, those are great.
Do you have one?
I have a brush.
What should I get, dude? The loofah or the brush?
Well, do you like to scratch your back? Do you like to scratch your back like really hard and stuff like that? Something bristly?
I mean, I just want to be able to wash my back. I guess I didn't think about. Does this feel good? Do you put soap on it?
Yeah, I put soap on it.
All
I
right.
scrub my back with it. It makes my back real
That's
soft.
the thing I miss about relationship is someone to put lotion on your back.
Yeah.
Because my back gets dried out.
That's if you got an itchy back, you need to get lotion on there.
I want a fidget spinner.
Get it.
I know, but is that the one?
The Spider-Man one's the way to go. That's the one Spider-Man uses. or you can get the nose trimmer that Brett Favre uses.
Oh my God. Dude, please take a picture of that. The Brett Favre, quarterback legend.
Yeah, let's do that.
That's the one Brett Favre endorses.
Brett Favre
It's one of my
uses
favorite things
that
about
actual
life is
thing.
that you don't know when you wake up what life is going to bring to you.
And life brings you Brett Favre's nose trimmer. Isn't it amazing? Thank you. You're the cleanest car, man.
Well, it's a new car.
And you don't have children.
Yeah, I don't have wet Cheerios.
All right, I gotta put this back.
I don't know. I think this is beautiful. You got yourself a house. You got kids. You got a pool.
Yeah. You mind helping me unload some of this?
Not at all. But let's
Shut off.
let's hang it up, and I'll just say thank you.
No problem, man. Thank you.
We're gonna do audio handshake.
Audio handshake for the listeners.
I really appreciate it, Adrian.
We just shook hands like for real in real life.
Yeah. That was a good handshake. You got a good handshake.
I do. Te cuica vi alame, te otazi nel wicaminat. Te cuica vi alame, te otazi nel wicaminat.
Thanks for listening. Thanks to Adrian and Sarah and the family. They actually had me come over and swim in the pool. If you can imagine swimming in a pool right now, it's like 2 degrees outside here in Salt Lake City. I really feel like this episode was a passage. I have no other way of explaining how I feel about this thing. I hope you'll tune in again next week. Do we tune anymore? Nobody tunes. iTunes. Oh my God. You can find us on the web at wanderingtheisles.com, Twitter, Instagram, at Wandering Isles, Facebook, Wandering the Isles with Andy Farnsworth. Support us on Patreon if you can, or give us a review. I don't know why I'm saying us. Actually, there is kind of an us now, so you'll hear all about that. It's a good thing. It's a really good thing. It's an amazing thing. And I feel actually like this episode, what happened, is kind of why I'm where I'm at now. Am I being vague? Terse? Stick around if you want to hear what Andy sounds like in a good, happy, healthy relationship, if you're interested in that. If not, go to hell. It's weird when you start to feel happy. Some of the gloomy friends, they start to just go away. They're like, what are you doing with the happiness? You're actually a bummer to them being happy, I'm noticing. Or maybe it just doesn't look right on me. It'll grow. These are new muscles, the smiling. All right, guys. As my niece's favorite song says, peace sign, middle finger. What? No middle finger. Oh my God.